Good afternoon everyone and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be covering repeat sales from order pads. If anyone's watching that doesn't recognise my voice, it's Mike that'll be doing today's session, and we will have Callum on the live chat as well if you've got any questions throughout the webinar. We'll also be hanging around at the very end for a little while if you've got any further questions after the session is done. So what we're going to be covering today is how you can set up and create order pads within the back office. Some of you who are watching this may have created these previously before through Prima Go. If you're looking to know how they work within Prima Go, Callum will be putting the link to that webinar in the chat shortly. So if you want to watch that once we're done here to see how it'll work on your web store, then by all means watch once we're done here. But this is how you can set it up within the back office. So you can use an order pad for a number of different reasons, but sort of the main use that we're going to be going through today is if any of your customers have sort of repeat monthly, weekly, daily orders that they put on, whatever it fits your customer, whatever the order, if it's a weekly paper order that they have, then rather than you having to remember or to put it on, or if they've got quite a large order that they place sort of quite often, then the time it takes that for you to actually put on that order, you can do something sort of more proactive rather than reactive. So it's just freeing up some time for yourselves to do other things. And to set up an order pad within Prima, we can go into this new record button and we can select the order pad option here. And basically the screen that you see is a little bit like when you create a sales order. So once you come into here, the create new record screen, you can just search for your company you're looking to set an order pad up for. So we can select the company that we want, and we give it a reference or an order pad name. So for this one, it's just going to be a test order pad that we're doing. You could do sort of say your weekly order, as you say, your paper order, whatever it might be for that company. You can give it a bit of a name just so you know sort of exactly what that order's for. Once happy with all the information where it's going to the contact, we can just hit this create button here, and this will load up an order pad here. So within this order pad, we can add sort of whatever items that we want, and whatever items that your customers want, and you can actually specify quantities, units, by just clicking the create new record down at the very bottom. So for this order, we're just going to add some K24001s. You can specify pack sizes, so if you've got an item that you stock in various pack sizes and the customer always wants, say, a pack of 5, you can specify the sales unit if available within that sales unit box. Below that we have the quantity, so if your customer always wants, say, 5 boxes of paper, then you can specify that exact quantity and it will always pull onto the order specifically. And then the very last thing that we've got an option for here is the cost centre. So if you have a customer that uses cost centres and each line has to be defined for a cost centre, then you can actually automatically put that in without you having to worry about doing it on the actual order. If we just hit save or click outside the red area, we can see that we've got the line added in, and it'll work out the item price as well for you, which is what they'll be paying. So that's just how you can add a line. You can continue that process to add more lines into it by hitting this blue add new button in the bottom right hand corner. But once you're happy with the amount of items that you've got on there and what your customer wants, you can actually set this up to be on a schedule. So depending on how often that your customer wants this, whatever you agreed with them, you can set it up to automatically create an order from this order pad based on that schedule. So I would say it's weekly, monthly. You can be quite flexible with what you're doing. So to actually create the schedule, if we hit this schedule order button right at the very top, within here we can add a schedule. So if we just hit this new button, we can type in the description, so it'll be weekly stationery order. This is what we're going to use as the description, and it's just a way that we can identify what that schedule is. Once happy with that, we can just hit the save button, and that puts in the new schedule at the very top for that order pad. Once it's put in the new schedule, we actually need to specify what times it will run at, and that is using this add schedule button here. And within here we can choose whether it's going to be done on a weekly basis, whether it's going to recur, say, sort of every fortnight, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, however often, how many weeks that you want it to sort of occur, and then you can specify the dates as well. So, well, the dates, but the days. So if you want this to come in, say, every Monday because they want it to be delivered on Tuesday, then you can do, and it'll come up and be created as an outstanding order at that time. You can specify when it starts. So if, say, you're bringing on a new customer that wants to use this, that wants to start like a weekly paper order from, say, the 1st of the next month, we can choose the start date. So if we wanted this to run from, say, the start of next month, so the first working day, we can select sort of the 3rd of September, and then from then on it will repeat and it'll go through at whatever we specify. So you can specify the time as well. So if you do a couple of purchasing runs, then you can specify it to go in, say, the morning purchasing run, the afternoon, wherever it is that sort of you want. You can specify times in 15-minute slots, and it'll just create it sort of around that time. The other option you've got as well in here is the option for monthly orders. So rather than weekly, you can specify these to be on monthly. You can specify the months from the top, so whichever month that you want it to run. So if specific customers want, say, every bi-monthly paper order, they order quite a lot, but it's every other month, you can do, as well as specific days within the month. So if it's always, say, the 5th, the 6th, or whatever it might be, you can specify and be really, really flexible with that. And then the last option we've got in here is sort of like on certain days. So you can say, well, it's the first week, the last week, and as well as the first day in the first month. So and the last day, just as an example. There's quite a lot that you can do with that. So depending on what schedule your customer wants, you can be really, really flexible with that. Okay, so just give a bit of a recap, 'cause it's quite a short webinar that we've got today. If I just close out with this, to create a new order pad, we've got new record and order pad, and it's just similar to filling out a sales order. You can pop the company name in, select the relevant company, location, etc., and hit the create button. To add a line, we'll either select the create new button at the very bottom, or we can hit this add new button on the right hand side, and that'll give us the ability to add a new line. And then to actually create a schedule, we just use the schedule order button at the very top, and it allows us to put a schedule in to sort of create an automatic order to come into the system that's outstanding. And that's the process of putting on a repeat sale. It's a nice, easy, quick process that you can do that'll save you a lot of time in the future, rather than you putting on sort of large orders from your customers, repeat after repeat. So it's really useful to start using, and hopefully your customers will make use of it. But that's all we've got for today. If you do want any further information on the order pads and how they work with the web store, as I said, Carl should have put the link in the chat, or we'll be putting the link in the chat for you to watch once we're done here. But if you want any more one-to-one training on order pads or at Prima Go or the back office in general, please contact our customer service department. More than happy to discuss sort of training packages and book a session in. But apart from that, have a lovely bank holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Not on a show.
What they are? Fast touch.
Not a fast touch server.